Hey guys, welcome back to another video this week, and this one I think it's an issue I've talked about, but maybe or not, because the problem when you've been doing YouTube like this for 2 years, or getting close to it, you end up revisiting the same things. But I think I haven't, but let me explain. So, well, it's strange how whenever you picture your life, like you normally think that you normally look back at the things you've done, like the highlights, that sort of thing, and one of the things I tend to do, which I think a lot of people do, is I think I always accustom it to a plan. In other words, like I think that everyone has like the ideal plan of how to run your life. In other words, like from birth to death, with the certain things you should do in that certain period of time. Like by the time you're 10, you should have done this. By the time you're 18, you should have done that. By the time you're 20s, like that, 30s, 40s, that sort of thing. Like the sort of idea, like when you're, by the time you're like 16 to 18, you should have learn how to drive a little bit. By the time you're in your 20s, you should be looking for work. By the time you're in your 40s, you should have an idea of what your life is like. That sort of thing. It's sort of like those baselines of how everyone is expected to live, and it's always something that's always been in my head, because it's always something I've never really particularly followed. In the sense of like I don't like have that sort of baseline for things. Like the idea of me thinking like, oh, I'm in my 20s, like I should have had a career sorted out, I should have like a proper job, I should have proper friends, and I don't. In the sense of like I'm still like chasing the things I want to do. I still like and try and meet new people, that sort of thing. And I keep always thinking like, oh, by the time I'm get to like my 30s and 40s, I should have moved on, I should do other things, I should have my life figured out by then, And it's always something that I absolutely hate that I have to think of all the time. Because, I mean, like, I've always been, one thing I always like to sort of combat that thought is the idea that my life shouldn't have a plan. In other words, that there shouldn't be like some, there shouldn't really be some pinpoint plan that everyone has to follow in terms of their lives. Everyone's life is different, and everyone has certain goals and checkpoints that they fill in their own time. Like there's no like right age to do something or like wrong time period to do this. Like everyone does things in their own way. Like I didn't get like proper best friends until I reached the university. Like I had friends, but not ones I would actually properly share things with. Like I didn't date until I was well too old. I didn't actually look for work until like I left university, that sort of thing, And it's one of those things where like sometimes I feel like incredibly ashamed about it, because it's like, oh well, because it's always a bad thing to compare everyone's life to yours, because everyone's life is always going to be better, no matter whose life I look at, it's always going to be doing better because they've done better things than me, and And what's also more annoying is the idea that when you actually look at your life, you tend to not realize the things that you've done, in the sense of how like all the accomplishments and things that I've done seem relatively nothing, like it looks like I've wasted 26 years, that sort of thing. And so that leads down to a dark spiral, which then makes me question my life, which is never a good thing. So the sort of thing I wanted to make this vlog about was the idea that I wanted to sort of give a little bit of motivational help that for anybody who thinks that there's these idle times in your life that you have to do stuff, or like there's a certain point in your age where you should have worked things out, you can tell them to shut up, because that's not what life is about. Life should be about doing things your own way. Like you're finding goals and things about yourself and what you want to do, who you are. You should find it in your own time and space. In other words, never let anyone tell you how your life should be like, not even yourself. Like, you should never be burdened with the idea that your life should have gone this way, It's your life, it's my life, My life is exactly where it needs to be right now, And there are times where I'm still really not okay with it. Like, there are times where it's like, things where with the radio and the YouTube and all the work, I think like, is it all pointless? Like, should I just give up on that stuff. Do you accept like a simple job somewhere and just get by? That sort of thing. Like, should I just stop wasting my time, as my mind thinks and wanders off? But then I think, like, that's what anyone else would do. And also that's for someone who thinks that after all those times I've tried to do those things, if I gave up now, then I would have been wasting my time, because then I would think that was pointless, Or all the times, I have tried desperately to try and be social, and I just think, like, why don't you just go to a bar or a club and just try to do it, and just go meet people? But then I think, like, that's never been me, in the sense of, like, I want to be social, but back then, like, if I tried to do that, that would have just been worse, because I wasn't comfortable. Back then, I was never, I wouldn't have done anything. I would have felt horrible in the sense of, like, of me forcing myself to do those things, and it turns out to be pointless, So the idea is that in my head, there's always this plan that I reach such high expectations of myself. The idea that I should have my life figured out, I should have the perfect everything, and I always have to remind myself to shut up once in a while, to sort of stop listening to that voice in my head, to sort of think, like, no. Who cares what this stupid plan in your head says? It's your life. You do what you do. You do it's your life. No one will command it. There's no expectations of it. Nothing is telling you that I have been failing except myself. So that's the case, and that's for anybody out there who also feels the same way. If you think that you feel you've been wasting time on something, or you feel like you should be doing better just because other people are doing better than you at a certain age, remind yourself that it's still your life. No one is comparing you except you. Who you are is who you should be in your own time and space. You work things out in your way, and the whole point being, like, are you happy with where you are? That's the point. And if you are, then what do you got to worry about? That's the whole thing. So yeah, I mean, that's something that I still think about, but I still have to come back. But just to remind everyone out there, including myself, that there is no plan for life. It's life. There's always hurdles. There's always something that you never know, and there's always something about yourself which you may not be comfortable with, or something where you think, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. There is no great plan that everyone follows. It is your life. It is everyone's different lives. Everyone is different. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks so much for watching this. Sorry it was a little bit down in the dumps, but not all of them can be happy. So thanks so much for watching. I'll find some more happy things to talk about maybe next week or a few weeks. So till then, guys, bye.